Welcome to Girl Talk with Amy, Anna, and Lisa.
Come on, girls. Yeah, you know it's our world. So tell me, where the girls at? Come on, girls.
Like many girlfriends, we get together, share what's going on with friends, family, life in general, good, bad. We're always here to support each other. When we visit each other, we spend time doing our girl talk in the comfort zone. The comfort zone is a place where we can be very vulnerable with each other, no judgments. We want to make sure we're uplifting and helping each other when we're down. However, when we're having great success, we're definitely supportive and we're cheering each other on. We are here to support all of you. We realized one day that we had to share this message with others. What we talk about in the comfort zone is something that can empower women all over the world. And we wanted to bring you into our world where we meet once a week. We hope that you enjoy our show. Please like, subscribe, and share with others. We'd love to hear back from you. Welcome to the show. And I am so happy because today my new friend, Honorée Corder, is here visiting us. And if y'all don't know who she is, you better figure it out quickly because this woman is amazing. And I can hardly wait for you to hear her story. She's an executive and strategic book and publishing coach. She's a TEDx speaker, and she's the author of over 50 books, including my favorite that I'm actually in the middle of right now, You Must Write a Book. Additionally, she's the co-creator of The Miracle Morning. And if you've read any of those books or been part of that series and you want to be productive in your life and in your business, boy, oh boy, I'm sure you can say that that book has changed something in your morning routine. She has helped numerous entrepreneurs and business professionals write, publish, earn a lot of money, as well as take their business to the next level. She is just absolutely fantastic. She runs the Empire Builders and Collective Mastermind groups, and she does all sorts of other magical things, and her badassery is legendary. So you can find her at honoreecorder.com. Welcome to the show, my friend.
I'm so happy to be with you all. That was so fun.
I have to start this off by saying, tell me your story. You have to share with the others where you came from. We at Girl Talk absolutely love empowering women and just really being raw and open.
Yeah.
I want you to tell people really where you came from. You bring up the fact that you're not a college graduate, and I really think that's key to sharing with the other women. So take it away. Tell us.
Oh, got it. Yeah. So in my TEDx talk, when you give a TEDx talk, you're supposed to contextualize yourself so that the audience can relate to you. And sometimes when you see someone on a stage, I don't know about you, but I think I've always thought my whole life, anyone on the stage must have all their I's dotted and their T's crossed, kind of like Lisa's background in her living room. Like everything is perfect in their lives. And so they're on stage and nothing would have gone wrong, except when you're wanting to inspire and motivate people to do whatever they want to do. If they can't relate to the speaker, if they think, well, that person has it all and I don't have it all, right? I'm not 5'10" and, with a Princeton degree and a family tree with lots of money in it, then gosh, I probably can't be that successful. And so I start by saying that I was a foster kid. I was a single mom. I was a divorcee, right? I have all these qualities and characteristics that if you looked at the list, or if you asked anyone I went to school with when I was younger, they would say, we did not see this coming. This was not, none of this was predictable. What you have going on for you is not predictable. And that's the entire point, is that my story starts with some black and blue marks, literally. And I chose what to make of it going forward from there. So I took being a foster kid as a way that I got to learn how to read people, and going through a divorce and being a single mom, a way for me to be the best mom that I could possibly be, and to pick myself up after that situation and brush myself off and just decide my future. And I think that people in the audience can relate to the person who's been covered in snot and tears, not the person who just appears to be perfect. Right. So that's really my story. That's, that's how I started. No, I didn't go to college, because when it came time for me to graduate from high school, I had to go right to work. I didn't have a college fund. I didn't know anything about applying for grants or loans. And those things scared me. Paperwork, math, right? I was a little averse to those things. And I really just went right into the workforce, but then I also went right to work on myself. I was very lucky to discover Tony Robbins and Zig Ziglar and Brian Tracy and some of the motivational folks that paved the way for my journey to now do that through the Miracle Morning book series and through my books. I really went to work on myself, and I took to heart, and I think it's Jim Rohn that said, traditional education will earn you a living, self-education will earn you a fortune. And I took that to heart, because there was no one who was going to pay for my traditional education. So I figured, well, I like a fortune anyway, so let's go that way. Let's go that route.
So now let me go back just a little further.
Of course.
You were part of the foster system.
Yeah.
Now, did you age out of the foster system, or were you adopted by the time you graduated?
Neither. So I was in foster care. So this was in the 80s. So you can do the math, carry the one. Yes, I'm that old. So the foster system was set up a little bit differently back then. Like, they would put you in foster care, but if they could get you out of foster care, they did. So I was only in the foster system a very short period of time, and then they threw me back to my parents. Okay. That didn't go well. So I ended up living in a children's home, and then I went home to my parents. And then I just went and lived with a friend of mine whose mom was a single mom. She kind of took me in. I graduated high school. And then I had a boyfriend who co-signed for my apartment and my first car. And I just kind of went on my way from there.
And then thank God that you were able to find something to inspire you. You actually looked at personal development, and you actually found something, because the statistics show
not good.
Completely the opposite.
They are not good. Correct. And that is actually why I am the only person on the board of Family and Children's Services here in Nashville who was a foster kid. That was one of the reasons they wanted me to serve on the board, because I bring a different perspective.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
The statistics. Yeah. So you definitely beat the odds.
Yeah, I think
because
so. So far, so far, so good. So far, so good. And you're right. You hit on something, maybe on purpose or unintentionally. That is that the statistics actually, I kind of was statistical there for a minute. Getting married, getting a divorce, being a single mom, like those are where the statistics go for someone with my history. But also now being remarried for 12 years. So yay, I've got a check in the win column. Being a successful entrepreneur, yay, check in the win column. Also the things the boxes I didn't check: no addictions, no incarcerations, no arrests, no indictments, no convictions, right? So I've kept that side of the balance, right? And again, no one saw that coming either, right? They were kind of like, it's not looking good for the home team, Honorée, you better be careful. But I hope that because it's not about me, really. It's for anyone who's listening, who's thinking, I have some strikes against me, therefore the odds are against me. What are the chances I'm going to overcome the odds? And so this is just maybe a little slice of, all right, if she can do it, then I can probably do it too.
Absolutely.
That's the message I hope I'm
inspiration is there for sure. So in order to not have those strikes against you, clearly you had a head on your shoulders, and you had a certain drive.
A head on my shoulders, some drive, and I believe a pack of angels, because I can look back and be grateful that there were no cameras with, cameras on my phone. The little things we adults give gratitude for. Yes, but I didn't find it right away either, right? I wasn't like I was 18 or 19 or 20 and then was like, oh, Tony Robbins, great. I'm going to go do the fire walk and woohoo. Thank God I'm on the right path now. There were a lot of, let's say if you don't win, you learn. There was a lot of learning, a lot of learning on my path.
So at what age did you become an entrepreneur?
24, 23 or 24. So my parents, you know, in as much as there were some challenging things that happen as a parent, I now know that no parent ever criticizes another parent. That's a bad idea, right? Because you have to just walk in the path. And then anyone who's just like, well, that's not how I would have done it. It's like, okay.
They do their best with the tools.
Because you don't know, you do the best you can with what you had. So one of the many things that my parents did well while I was living with them, and, you know, and I was not in the foster system my whole life. I didn't go until high school. So I lived with my natural parents, my birth parents for 15, 16 years. One of the things that they did really well is they taught me entrepreneurialism. So they were both advanced degreed professionals, but they ran a business out of the house. And so I got to see what being an entrepreneur could be like. I also remember my dad saying, if you're working for someone, you're working for the man. Somebody's going to get rich, kid, and it's not going to be you. Right. And so working for the Pharaoh, I think is what he said. And so it's like, you're building someone else's empire. Better you build your own empire.
Right.
And I kind of took that away along with all of the self-doubt and lack of self-esteem and lack of belief in myself, knowing that I would never get this built if I didn't get this built. If I didn't take care of this, I was never going to get where I wanted to go. So the only path for me, I felt like I wasn't going to go to Princeton on a full ride scholarship or because somebody was paying for it. So therefore, how was I going to get where I wanted to go? Because I also like nice shoes. So that's a problem. So there's a problem if you like nice things. If you want a cabin in the woods, right? No one's going to give it to you. You got to
earn it.
Oh, you got to earn it yourself. And so how do you do that without a college education? Now I think it's easier. Now I've heard people say college isn't really necessary. It was definitely necessary when I was growing up. That's the first question everybody asked. Where did you go to school? What did you get your degree in? And it's like, not going to jail.
Hard knocks.
Yeah, I have a PhD from the School of Hard Knocks and the Graduate School of Results, right? But as much education, as much self-education as traditional education. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of a weirdo when it comes to learning. I'm always learning all the things. Which, like, every year I have things that I learn.
That leads me to my next question. So you were in learning mode as your career, your business was a speaker.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden a major left turn occurred. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So you're talking about my conversation with Mark Victor Hansen. Yeah. So I was, I had a business in my 20s, and as part of that business, I was given a business coach for 3 months. And that was super cool to have someone who had my agenda for me and was my cheerleader, and also gave me little nuggets of critical inch distinctions, right? Like just in time motivation, just in time learning, just in time clarification, right? Business coaching. And so I became a business coach. And then to market your coaching business, you speak for free. And then to market your speaking business, you're supposed to write a book. So I met Mark Victor, I didn't know this. I met Mark Victor Hansen, and he said, what do you do? And it was 20 years ago, right? So I was maybe 30, early 30s. And he said, what do you do? And I was like, ooh, I'm a coach and a speaker. And I did a little hair flip, and he was like, oh, that's cute, Peanut. Right? He was thoroughly unimpressed. And he said, everyone is a coach and a speaker. You must write a book. If you want to differentiate yourself, you must write a book. And of course, you all must know what I was thinking, which was, I didn't go to college, never taken a writing class. Who am I to write a book? But I listened anyway. This is what Mark Victor Hansen said I should do. He's an author I admire. He just gave a presentation up on the stage, and they probably paid him $25,000. Could buy a lot of nice shoes with $25,000 on a race. Listen to Mark. Be like Mark. So off I went back home, and it took me 3 days to write my first manuscript because I wrote when I wasn't sleeping. It was a very short book. Don't get excited. It's very short. Just 11,000 words. When someone says, how long is a book? It's like, it's as long as you make it. It's either as long or as short as you make it, right? So my first book was 11,000
words.
Yeah, but I wrote it. It felt like more than 11,000 words by the time I got out of that chair. But I literally wrote Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, except when I was sleeping. Like I just kind of went into the zone and took a speech that I had given over and over that people liked and turned that into my first book. And that completely changed the trajectory of my life and my career. It changed the career that I had at the time, business coaching and speaking. I was able to charge more. When you tell people you're an author, even still to this day, they're like, wow, I mean, you're a big hit at parties, that's for sure. Because everybody wants to write a book. So everyone's like, oh, how did you write your book? And what's it about? And how do I find it? And all the things. It all of a sudden makes you one of the cool kids, which I was never one of the cool kids. So that's kind of fun. And then, as luck would have it, over time, as I wrote more and more books, people started coming to me and saying, not only do you know how to write and publish a book, and you do a pretty good job at, you also know how to sell books too. And I don't know how to do that. So I want to write a book, and I also want to make money from my book, or I have a book and it's doing abysmally. So what do I do now? Those are the kind of questions that I get. And because I'm such a book nerd, I get to help them. So
and make this generational income.
Yes, it's leveraged income, which is my favorite.
Yeah, that's something that I learned from you, and I went, huh. It was a moment for me where I realized, are you kidding me? Like, yeah, there's residual for me, but my kids could actually benefit from this. My children could actually be receiving a check for, 70 years or something?
70 years after the last person who contributed dies. So if there are multiple authors on it, the copyright lasts until 70 years after. So when you say, when I read today, Think and Grow Rich is quite possibly the best-selling self-improvement book of all time. Well, Napoleon Hill is long dead, but the Napoleon Hill Foundation is still like,
Right. That whole foundation.
They're doing okay.
Absolutely.
Yes. Well, I mean, when you get rich enough, you have a foundation. That's how you know somebody's rich. They have a foundation.
Named after them, right?
Yeah, named after them. How rich are you? You think you're rich, but if you don't have a foundation, call me back in 10 years. Let me know how you're doing.
Actually, I have a question. For someone that is thinking about writing a book, what would be a good tip for them to start? I mean, I've heard people say, are you journaling so that you could start picking from there? What would you want to share with the audience? Like where can they start before they call you?
Oh, that's great. So many different answers to the question. So I'll just go in the order that I teach it usually, right? So when someone's like, I know I need to write a book, but I don't know what my book is about, I always turn back to them and ask them what people are coming to them for. So I wrote the book, You Must Write a Book, because people were coming to me because they wanted to know how to write and publish a book, right? So it's like, what is the advice that people are always coming to you for? What's the advice that you love to give? Who are you helping? All of those things. Those are great questions to answer. Also, from a business and strategic perspective, where would the book fit into your life and your business? Sometimes people have this whole life and business going on over here, but they have this book that they want to write, and that's totally fine. But if it's not connected in any way, they're going to have a challenge connecting the dots. So I just want to make sure to point that out and make sure that they understand, like, if you add a little more strategy to it, if you think about more broadly from a broad perspective, like where is the book going to fit into your business? Do you want, 70 years of royalties after you die? So maybe another 170 years of royalties, or do you want to generate business with your book? So part of my marketing process is marketing with your book. How do you take your book and get it in the hands of your strategic partners and your prospective clients so that they turn around and hire you? That's part of marketing with the book. There's marketing the book so that you get book sales. There's also ways to turn your book into other streams of income. So I'm working with a client right now to do not just a book, but also a workbook and a course and consulting. And I call that the Wheel of Fortune, which I borrow from Dr. Catherine Ponder, who wrote, you know, about wealth and abundance and spiritual money growth and those sorts of things. And so like, that's really fun, but can you think about ancillary products that you can write with your book? Where does it fit in to your overall picture? How are you going to use the book to help people, to help yourself, et cetera, as they say? Does all that make sense?
I love that. That's great advice for all those that are thinking about writing a book, to be able to have a vision and how to bring that vision together with merging it. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, of course.
How do you get up every day and have that drive?
So it's at this point, it's not what I do, it's who I am. There comes a point where you say, and this is you, whoever you are, whoever's listening, right? Like you say, this is what I want. I want this thing that's out here. I want an empire. I want a business. I want a book. I want a wonderful relationship, whatever that looks like. And you see that there's a gap, like, well, you're here and this thing that you want is over here. Like, how do you get there? And I have a personal trainer, so fitness trainer, and he calls the morning routine prepping the asset. And he's like, and the asset is you. So at some point, it's not how do you get up in the morning, it's how do you not get up in the morning. So for me, it's 4:15. My alarm never wakes me up. I'm awake before my alarm goes off, and in go the earbuds. And this is, Anna, this is your piece, right? Which is, what do? I put my earbuds in and I do a meditation. And then I have an app of my personal recorded affirmations, nerd alert again, right? So I have affirmations that I've written that I'm listening to in this app, or it depends on how good the coffee smells and how long I want to be in bed and what I'm excited to get up and do. And then I go read. Every day there's reading and journaling. Every day there's meditation, affirmations, reading, and journaling right before anything else. And then I get on the yoga mat, because I've discovered that yoga is like WD-40 on my door hinges.
Yes.
And it releases all the things. I'm doing a little snap, crackle, pop for about the first 10 minutes, right? I get everything going, but then it also releases the creativity. So I have my writing hour from 6 to 7. So from 4:15 to about 6, it's personal development time for me. And it's time that I cherish. And I'm also really grouchy if someone bugs me during that time, because it's like, oh, I get my 20 minutes of reading and I get to scribe some things that are important to me and really just focus on what I want. And it kind of gets me to a place where I've put myself into the on button. And then and this is maybe an older reference than, I don't mean to make so many references to my age today. I don't know what my problem is, but Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. You remember that toy?
Yes.
Right? Just consult the YouTube. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like there's a video on YouTube that'll bring you right up to speed. But when you have something that, and I've not ever been able to figure out something that really describes it that well, like Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. It's like when you have prepped your asset or reinforced your force field, then it's like, it doesn't matter. It's like, okay, that's all you got, universe, as opposed to hashtag 2020. It's like, but it's not the year's fault, right? We can't just blame a whole year for a whole bunch of crap, right? It's been a bit of a crap shoot this year. It's been very odd, but there are a number of people who I've spoken to that are like, I've written double the number of books this year. I've learned a language. I've written a couple of books this year. I've worked with new clients. I've gotten in the best shape of my life. I can now do tricep push-ups. Thank you very much. So
Nice.
And it's not that if you didn't have a great year or you're not having a great day, that there's anything wrong with you. It's just that if you decide that you're not just going to wake up earlier, because you don't even have to wake up earlier, if you decide you're going to wake up better, which is what Hal says, my co-creator in the series, right? Or I'm his co-creator. Anyway, we co-created the series together. He came first, I came second. It's like, it's not just how you do it, it's how you do it, right? So it's like when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh good, it's still quiet. I have time to meditate, do some affirmations, do some visualization, do some reading, journal, do some yoga, hang out with my dog. And then the wheels can come off the bus, and they do. And yet I am prepared mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually for whatever is coming at me. So no homicides to date. Never been arrested. I credit my morning routine. And I have been doing this for longer than I have been involved with the Miracle Morning. When I read the Miracle Morning, I went, oh, of course, there should have been this book. And then I tease Hal, like, oh, you got a better story. You got to die for 6 minutes, right? Your story is better than mine, just being a foster kid and a single mom. Like, your hard luck story is better than my hard luck story, so you win. But it's been an intentional and purposeful action for me. And at some point, and this is such a long answer to your question, and I apologize for that, but at some point it's not how do you do it, it's how could you not do it. This morning, I've got my daughter visiting, my in-laws are visiting, and so I didn't have an alarm. And of course, 4:22, I look at I was like, oh, I'm gonna sleep in. No alarm, let's see what happens. Ooh, 4:22, kids. So I was very quietly doing the things in bed that I normally get up and come out and am on the couch doing.
Honorée, you are almost like my twin, I think.
Oh,
You're
good.
saying all this stuff, and I can totally relate because here I go again, sharing way too much on this show, as I've been doing every single week. Not a whole lot of people know this, but I too was a foster child. And not for a very long time, just like you. I think we're probably around the same age, somewhere around there. But I was
1987, I was born, just like you.
Yeah, me too. Oh my gosh, that too.
It's amazing.
I was super young, so I have no idea how long I was in there, but I know it wasn't very long. I was 3, and all I have are memories of how horrible the family was that I, that had my brother and I for this short time. But again, too, I grew up not thinking ever in life that I was going to be where I am today. And I'm sure I look at the people I went to school with and I'm like, oh, that's what happened to you? I'm sorry.
You liar.
I can be positive. Like, okay, so I see where you're at and I know where I'm at. And, but divorcee, single mom, entrepreneur, I am like your twin.
Yay. I love it. I love it.
So I love that I'm actually meeting someone via Zoom that went through a lot of the same things that I did. And I too, one day will write a book, but
excellent.
I'll get there.
Yes.
So what we normally do on this show is we all start with, where we were, where we went, and where we are and where we're going. Yeah. Where are you going? What's your next plan?
I'm writing fiction. So I've written some nonfiction, and I feel like I ran out of words. My last nonfiction book title that I wrote by myself. So The Miracle Morning for Teachers was the last nonfiction book, but the book before that was Stop Trying So Fucking Hard.
Love it.
Love that title.
Thank you. And the reason that I wrote that book was just super quickly, I see people doing things for other people. They buy things for other people. They say things because of other people they don't like or they don't know. It's like, if I have this car and I live in this place and I do this thing, then these people that I don't know or I don't even like will be impressed with me and they'll like me.
You met my ex-husband?
Maybe. But that's it. But I look at that with compassion. I look at that with, we are not taught, and this is because of what we're taught in school. We are taught to sit in a row, behave ourselves, get good grades, marry the captain of the football team, right? Like there's certain, like, go to a certain church, go to college, get a degree, get a spouse, get a house, get a mortgage, get 2 cars, have 2 kids. We are taught that this is the thing we're supposed to do. So there are so many people that are like, well, that doesn't feel right to me. I don't want to be a lawyer. I want to be a painter. I don't want to marry a man. I want to marry a woman, right? Like, so wherever somebody is coming from, if they don't fit automatically, well, that actually works for me. I actually do want to go to college and become a lawyer and get a wife and get 2 kids, etc. Right? If that doesn't fit, then they're constantly trying to push themselves into this box that they don't belong in. And they're inauthentic selves. And so I'm like, just stop being your inauthentic self. be your authentic self. The people who don't like you will go away.
Yes.
The main comment on your social, but you just ignore them.
So what?
The right people are going to be attracted to you. I can't go
That's
out
right.
even right now in COVID that I don't meet. I met someone who's going to become a client because I was being a nice person. I was like, oh, you're looking for somewhere to eat, you need to go there. Well, what do? I help people write books. Oh my God, I've been talking about writing a book for 1.5 years. Let's work together. I mean, you can't, if you're vibrating in the right place, if your energy is in the right space, if your mindset is in the right space, you can't go anywhere without attracting the right people to you. And by virtue of that, the wrong people are going to say, she's weird, I don't like her at all. And they go away. They don't even bother me. They're not hanging around to see if we can be friends. They're just going off in their own direction. So that book was really to help people to wake up to the fact that you can stop trying so hard in one direction, and life is easy when you're your authentic self. And if someone doesn't like it, right? If they don't like me and they go away,
Bye, Felicia.
I'm not. Well, no, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not even like. I'm not even. I don't even think about it, to be honest. Like, there are some people that go away and then they'll come back and they'll go, well, you made this look or you made this comment, and I'm like, no recollection. My apologies. Right? I don't even argue. Or I don't even try to fix it. Just like, my apologies. Okay.
All done. Yeah, right. Like,
Okay.
Yeah,
sorry.
I don't even think about it or worry about it. I wish everyone the best, because I believe more than anything in what you put out comes back to you. So when I
Yes.
put out like, bless you, I don't mean it in a, oh, bless your heart kind of a way. I really mean it in a, I'm sending you blessings, because I want that shit multiplied 100-fold coming back to me.
And it works. That really
And it
works.
It
works.
does.
And
Yes.
it's so good. Yes. What I put out comes back to me multiplied. I can't even find room for it all. that's the
Manifesting
message
and
of the
living in
book.
abundance. That's what I say. It's
Yeah.
all here and it's all meant for me, right? Absolutely.
Amen. Preach it. Preach it.
Have you started your new book?
Yeah, so I'm writing fiction. So I'm just having a good time killing people and coming up with plots and things like that. Yeah, so I'm writing a thriller. I've got a police detective that I've connected with, again, like just magical connection. I made an ask and somebody said, oh, I'll introduce you, and now I'm friends, right? We're just friends. He comes over and he's constantly telling me I'm not a criminal, because I'll say, well, this is how this is going to go down in the book. And he's like, no. It's like, no, it would never go down like that. You're not a criminal. It's like, okay, well, that's probably good information to have, right? Like, you're never going to arrest me. Right.
I almost got away with it, right?
Yeah.
Honorée, thank you so very much for coming and spending some time with us. This was so inspirational. I'm sure this is going to help multiple people that didn't even think they were going to need this kind of help or want to get some of that energy. Boy, oh boy, it's actually quite exciting. How can people find you?
There are a couple of ways people can find me. They can go to my website, honoreecorder.com, and they can get a copy of that book that you're reading on the very front page as a gift from me. You can do a little YouTube search for my TED Talk, Authenticity is the New Black, and I am at Honorée on all the socials.
Awesome. Thank you so very, very much for coming. We truly appreciate your time. You are always welcome to come back, and we would love to hear about all of your new ventures, and every time you publish a new book, please, by all means, visit us.
I'll do it. Thank you so much.
Yes. Thank you.
so much.
It was such a
Okay.
pleasure.
Thank you, Honorée.
Thanks, ladies.
All right.
Thanks so
Nice to
much.
meet
I
you.
hope we'll talk
We're
to you
gonna-
soon. Nice to meet you. Let's stay in touch, please.
Yes.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, do you like this, or should I just put on a white t-shirt? Because I have a white t-shirt right here that I've been wearing.
I like that.
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
Yeah.
That's
because it's warm. Because
Like we just, when Amy gets back,
of my lighting.
I think it looks beautiful.
Okay, big girl.
oh, hi, Honorée.
I love
So-
Yo Soy Amazing. That's awesome. I understand that. Comprendo.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Comprendo. Yes. Well, you know how in your mind you intend to do something like, oh, I should work out. So in your mind, you're working out because you're thinking about it. So for
All
a
the
long time,
time.
I started thinking about it.
So
I have
in my mind, just because I'm working out, I'm actually in way better shape, and I'm only, you know, like 110 pounds and totally rock solid. Is that what it is?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm good.
Oh, I like that.
Me too. I'll go with
That's
it.
where
I'll
it
go
starts.
with it.
It starts in your mind.
All done. All done.
It's mindset. We're huge here on mindset.
I'm
Yes.
I'm 5'10", very long and leggy, and I'm a supermodel. Do you see me?
I do.
I see you.
I do. I see it. Do we swear? on this podcast?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I do.
Okay.
No, this is called Girl Talk.
In the comfort zone, so there's no
We
filter.
pride ourselves on no filter.
Real talk.